Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler every series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. I apologize in advance right now for the somewhat lackluster lighting. I'm doing this a little bit later in the day. The sun isn't out, so I don't have that natural basking glow that I normally do. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm in my back room today, which means we get Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. Ooh, Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am doing something else. What is it? I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my Tron Bond shirt. Yeah, see? Love the design, sort of silhouette style. If you're unfamiliar with the character of Tron Bond, she is a character from the Mega Man franchise, specifically the Mega Man Legends franchise, where she plays the role of antagonist / protagonist, depending on sort of, what game you're playing. I'm a huge fan of the Mega Man stuff, and I absolutely adore the Mega Man Legends franchise. It is one of my favorites in one of my favorite franchises of all time. So, when I saw the opportunity to pick up a cool looking shirt, I had to roll with it. If you ever want to yammer on about Mega Man stuff, let me know. I will talk your fucking ear off. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why am I doing this a little bit later in the day? Blah, 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 blah. I'm doing a little bit later in the day because, I was going to do this when it made sense for me to do it, because this is effectively going to end up being my dinner for the night. So I wasn't going to do it at 1 in the afternoon when it was still light out. And like I said, we're getting kind of close to winter, daylight savings, all that stuff. So, but what is it, folks? It happens to be, and, again, it's going to be my dinner, so hopefully it's good. Boom! It's from Tombstone. This is their chili cheese French fry style crust pizza. Ooh, okay. Which consists of hamburger, chili cheese sauce, mozzarella, cheddar, red onion, and parsley on a potato crust pizza. Okay, and it's made with real cheese apparently, which isn't something they should have to specify, but they do, sadly. Okay. And yeah, so obviously it's got the kitsch of, it's got a potato crust, which I've had a potato crust on pizzas before, but the pizza itself looks like, boom, like this. And I did what I was told to do. I put it in for 20 minutes, all that stuff. So that's how it came out looking. And let's get a thing for the thing here real quick. This is always the most fun part when I try to do this with pizzas, because it's a huge pain in the ass. No. We'll just go like this. We'll just go, ha 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 ha! Let's give it a go. I actually had to restart this review because the whole damn thing almost fell on the floor in one of them, and I was like, not a good look for me, not a good look. And I mean, I got it pretty good, so let's give it a shot. I'm not sure if that's undercooked or not, because the bottom appears to be cooked, but then, it's squishy. And I don't know if that's supposed to be the case or not. Maybe that's, the French fryness of it. It's definitely not how it's been executed with other potato crusts that I've had, but in those instances, those were done in, actual pizza places, not in my dumbass kitchen by me. So I don't know. If it's not, if I did it properly, that is kind of a weird sensation, because, it just feels extra squishy. It reminds me, years ago, Pizza Hut went over there, running off the success of their their stuffed crust pizza, they got a little cocky and they came up with this other type of pizza where it had like a layer of cheese underneath the toppings, right? So like even more cheese. And I kind of reminds me of that a little bit, sort of textural wise. Okay. I mean, the flavor on it's good. Tombstone's a good brand. They're definitely a step up from like, your Jacks, your more basic stuff. Um, you definitely get like the chili cheese sauce flavor. Reminds me a little bit of like chili cheese Fritos. Definitely a similar sort of flavor profile, which obviously makes sense. I think that's just the way it is. Because the exterior, like this crust is perfectly crispy. So I think it's just that. Okay. Um, yeah, you've got like the hamburger meat, which does give it a little bit different vibe than like Italian sausage. It has more of a ground beef kind of thing. Um, I mean, I'll say this: the flavors that are there are definitely supposed to be there. The French fry crust aspect of it is a little bit hit or miss. I kind of like what it brings to it, flavor wise, because it definitely gives it kind of a like almost a little bit of like a slightly earthy kind of bite to it. It's like it's a spud, right? It's from the ground. I mean, flour and stuff is from the ground too. That you make normal crust from. Whatever. But there is like kind of like a little bit of like a French fry sort of vibe to it. So I mean, like I do think that they delivered on what they were trying to do. It's just texturally you got to kind of get used to it because everything else about it is honestly pretty nice. Like flavors are good. I think that they chose a good flavor overall for it by going over there having the chili cheese aspect of it because you think chili cheese fries, that's a thing. It kind of plays off of that, and just going over there giving it the hamburger meat. Yeah, honestly, I like this. The chili cheese sauce has a little not a lot of heat or anything, but it has a little something that kind of tingles your throat a little bit, and I like that. It's good. The onions don't really play much of a role, but yeah, otherwise, honestly, that's pretty dang solid. I'm not going to complain. All right. Well, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I didn't know that I was going to say this after that first bite because I was a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to go with yes and yes. I actually think this is pretty damn good. Um, I like what it brings to the table in terms of both, the uniqueness of the crust. Because again, it's definitely very different than what I'm used to from having like a potato style crust, where, in the past, like it's had, for one thing, it's just been crispy throughout. But then on top of that, it's, that earthiness I was talking about was more sort of like the standout, that more like distinct potato flavor. This, again, they're going for more of a French fry flavor. And yeah, it kind of does work to that effect. And then with the flavors that they paired with it, it sort of accentuates that. The texture, again, is a little bit odd, but it's not tremendously off-putting or anything. It's just, again, presuming I did it properly because I followed their instructions, it is just a little bit weird, but I can get behind it. So I do think I would get this again. Now, if I'm recommending it, the only thing I would say in terms of recommending it would be, maybe for one thing, if you're like one of those people you have issues with like different types of textures playing together, this might be a problem for you. I know there are some people who are like that. But beyond that, I would maybe go over there and play with the cooking time. Like if you're better about that stuff, like than I am, maybe you can go over there and get a more desirable, like consistent texture, or maybe not. Like I said, maybe that's just how it is. But I do think that Again, Tombstone does a good job. No denying that. And I think this is a little bit of a fun gimmick that actually kind of gives you something unique. So, sure, give it a go. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly French fry-tastic rest of your life, because, folks, French fries are delicious, I'm just saying. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, like I said, if you try this one out, let me know how it went for you. Because, is it just user error on my part? Because when I do these reviews, where I have to, actually do a little, work involved, I just try to follow the instructions. But the instructions do not always mesh the way that, they're supposed to. So, maybe I did it wrong. Bye.